So what I'm going to read today is an article by Jonathan Cook. It's called How Israel Planned the Gaza Genocide Decades Ago. The truth slowly comes to light. Israel's genocide in Gaza was planned decades ago. Listen to the testimonies of 4 Israeli soldiers who served in Gaza. Soldier 1. Human lives didn't matter. You could kill. There was no law. No one would say a word to you. But it's not a good feeling. It mainly kills your humanity. Soldier 2. At first, I wasn't willing to execute Arabs who weren't resisting, that is, civilians. Then we came to the conclusion that we had to kill. We went through the process of ceasing to see them as human beings. Soldier 3. We caught guys, lined them up and eliminated them. In retrospect, it looks like murder. Soldier 4. We would roam through refugee camps in Gaza and carry out purges. Every soldier who was there created a concentration camp, and they didn't hesitate to kill people who caused a slight disturbance. No, these testimonies are not new. The whistleblowers did not serve in Gaza during the current ongoing genocide there. These accounts are nearly 60 years old, published last week by the Israeli newspaper Haaretz under the headline, "We were ordered to kill." Israeli soldiers interviewed shortly after the 1967 war, often referred to as the Six-Day War, not only confessed that they and others routinely committed war crimes, but they pointed out that they did so under orders from their commanders. None of this should be simply of historical interest. These accounts are a vivid reminder that what Israel has been doing during its current, near 3-year destruction of Gaza, levelling all homes, hospitals, schools, universities, bakeries and government offices, murdering tens of thousands, more likely hundreds of thousands, of Palestinian civilians, and blocking aid and starving the population, is part of a decades-old pattern of Israeli military conduct. Nothing started on 7th October 2023 when Hamas broke out for a single day of the Gaza concentration camp. The plight of Gaza's Palestinians, noted 59 years ago by Soldier 4. Rather, Israel found an excuse that day to breathe new life into an old story, one in which it has been slaughtering and expelling Palestinians for decades. The chief difference this time is simply one of scale and duration. Washington and other Western capitals have given Israel the time and space to finish in Gaza what earlier it had only been able to achieve in part. Israel's much greater firepower today, provided by modern munitions supplied by the United States, has allowed Israel to realize what it could only dream of doing, wiping Gaza off the map. The whistleblowing soldiers of 1967 admitted their job was not to fight the enemy or eradicate the terrorists, as Israeli leaders now term it. It was to kill and terrorize Palestinian civilians under cover of war. Few soldiers were shy of saying why they were committing atrocities. Their task was to create a reign of terror, integral to Israel's efforts to expel as many Palestinians as possible from the last remaining parts of the Palestinian homeland, the territories captured by the Israeli military in 1967 and then illegally occupied. This was seen as a new opportunity to complete the ethnic cleansing campaign begun by Zionist militias in 1947 and 1948 as the British Mandate authorities withdrew from Palestine. By the end of that campaign, some 80% of Palestinians have been expelled from their homes inside the borders of the newly declared Jewish state. Many ended up in refugee camps in neighbouring states such as Lebanon and Syria, but some fled into the surviving pockets of historic Palestine in the West Bank, East Jerusalem and Gaza. the 22% of their homeland that had been shielded from further Israeli advances in 1948 by Jordan and Egypt. The 1967 war was seen by the Israeli leadership as a second bite of the cherry, a chance both to seize and colonize all of historic Palestine through military occupation and the establishment of Jewish militia settlements, and to expand the ethnic cleansing operation to rid historic Palestine of its native inhabitants. Weeks after Israel seized the Palestinian territories, the Prime Minister of the time, Levi Eshkol, told his cabinet where the expulsions must begin. "We must empty out Gaza first," he said. Given international pressures, he was clear that the ethnic cleansing of Gaza would need to proceed by stealth so as to attract less attention. Foreshadowing Israel's 16-year siege of Gaza that started in 2007, he proposed that Palestinians could be forced out of Gaza precisely because of the suffocation and imprisonment Israel was imposing there. The ethnic cleansing program could be hastened, he suggested, by depriving the population of essentials like water. Perhaps if we don't give them enough water, they won't have a choice, because the orchards will yellow and wither. 40 years later, Israel would go on to calculate the minimum number of calories to allow into Gaza so that the people there would grow steadily more malnourished. As senior government advisor Dov Weissglass explained in 2006, the idea is to put the Palestinians on a diet, but not to make them die of hunger yet. 17 years after Gaza was forced onto its diet, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his generals seized their moment. They destroyed those orchards and transformed the diet into a full-blown starvation blockade, a crime against humanity for which Netanyahu and his former defense minister, Yoav Gallant, are wanted by the International Criminal Court. Haaretz's new investigation provides details of the ruthlessness of the mass expulsions of Palestinians beginning in 1967. The historical inquiry shows that Israel expelled and drove out some 300,000 Arabs from the West Bank, Gaza, and the Syrian Golan Heights. As in 48, the expulsion included killing civilians, sowing terror in Arab communities, looting, and ultimately destruction. Here is one soldier's testimony reported by Haaretz. "We blocked these crossings and received orders to shoot to kill without prior warning. Indeed, such shots were fired every night at men, women, and children, even on moonlit nights, when it was possible to identify those crossing, that is, to distinguish between men and women and children. In the morning, we would go out to scan the area, and we would kill by explicit order of the officer present those who were alive, including those hiding and the wounded. After the killing was over, we would cover the bodies with dirt until a tractor arrived." Today's Israeli whistleblowers warn that this military doctrine is unchanged. Investigations have repeatedly shown over the last 3 years Israel trying to conceal its crimes by secretly bulldozing its civilian victims into mass graves in violation of international law. It did so, for example, when troops massacred Palestinians seeking aid a year ago, and again when soldiers executed 15 Palestinian emergency workers in an ambush on ambulances in March 2025. There is nothing exceptional about this. Israel is known to have killed more than 1,000 babies in Gaza under the age of 1 since 7th October 2023, not all of them anonymously in strikes from the air. The Israeli military allowed a group of five premature babies in Al-Nasser hospital to die and decompose in their incubators after its soldiers took over the building in late 2023. Israeli commanders know that the first to die from a blockade of aid will be the most vulnerable. Babies froze or starved to death as the population was deprived of shelter, baby formula and food, with their mothers lacking sufficient nutrition to produce milk. Western audiences, deprived of the region's history, have been easily manipulated into believing that Israeli atrocities are a response, and a supposedly proportionate one at that, to Hamas' one-day attack on Israel in late 2023. An obvious truth has been obscured, that for at least 8 decades, Israel has been exploiting any opportunity it could find to expel the Palestinians from their homeland. Gaza is not an aberration. It is fully in accord with an 8-decade-long Israeli military strategy. Westerners aren't aware of that only because their political and media class have worked strenuously to stop them from learning about it. If the real context was understood, if Israel's decades-long pattern of murdering, raping and expelling Palestinians was better known, Western publics might wake up to the fact that their political and media class are not moral actors. They are not the guardians of international law and a democratic liberal order. This makes people in the West either ignorant and complicit, or like us here today, knowing what is happening, but so often feeling impotent to do anything about it. So for me, that is why I'm here today and every other Saturday, to hold the light, to bear witness to what is happening in Palestine today, to refuse to be complicit in what our government is doing. And thank you for being here with me today.